you, everyone. Good day, all of our ALA members, and welcome to the 2023 ALA Presidential Candidates Forum. My name is Patty Wong, and I am ALA's immediate past president, and I am so pleased to be moderating today's forum. With me is Adrian Stratton, ALA parliamentarian and ALA governance staff, who will help me moderate today's forum. The floor will be opened for questions from the attendees. Members were also provided the opportunity to submit questions prior to today's forum. There are two methods to formally ask a question or make a comment. You may either type your question in the Q&A box, which will be read by ALA staff, or you may raise your hand, which is at the bottom of the screen. We will recognize and unmute you so that you can verbally share your question or comment. Attendees will also always be, virtually muted other than when recognized. To identify yourself, please state your name, your affiliation, and your question or comment. The chat feature will not be enabled and available today. For optimal viewing, we encourage you to set up your Zoom view to speaker view, which can be located at the top right-hand corner of the Zoom webinar. Closed captioning is available at the bottom of your screen. And of course, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted on ALA's YouTube channel. For the forum today, we have asked each candidate to give a 5-minute opening statement. After the candidates have given their presentations, the floor will be opened for questions from the audience. All respective candidates will be given 2 minutes to respond to each question. The forum will end with each candidate presenting a 2-minute closing statement or summary. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to the presidential candidates for the 2023 ALA election. The 2024-2025 ALA presidential candidates are Cindy Hohl, Director of Policy Analysis and Operational Support at Kansas City Public Library in Missouri, and Eric D. Suess, Director of Marshall Public Library in Idaho. Please note that the following presentation order for our presidential candidates was determined by lot. First, we will hear from Cindy Hohl and then Eric Suess. I will now ask presidential candidate Cindy Hohl to present an opening statement. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you. I'm Cindy Hohl, and I'm glad to be here with you. I'm going to introduce myself in Dakota. Hanmitakiapi, Damakota Isan Teoete, Ichi Dakoja, Lyle and Philomene Henry, Ina Janice Ate Robert, Anpetuwashte. Hello, I'm Cindy of the Santee Sioux Nation, granddaughter to Lyle and Philomene, daughter of Janice and Robert, and today is a good day. Thank you for inviting me to share information about my career journey, and it is a pleasure to share my background with you. Education is instrumental in elevating my career success, spanning across 27 years, and I have earned a vast set of experiences and achievements working in the private and public sectors of finance, marketing, and public library management, supporting both tribal communities and the mainstream. I hold a Bachelor of Science in Organizational Management and Leadership, a Master of Business Administration, and a Master of Library and Information Science degree. And I am the Director of Policy Analysis and Operational Support at the award-winning Kansas City Public Library. My full profile with ALA involvement can be found at cindyforlibraries.com. I have worked in management my entire career, and I am passionate about leadership. As past president of the American Indian Library Association and as a North American representative to the International Federation of Library Associations, I work with librarians across the globe, including serving on the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Anti-Racism Committee of the National Information Standards Organization. Committed to social justice work, I also serve on the Urban Library Council's Anti-Racism Action Team to provide library resources for all. I also serve on the executive board of the Freedom to Read Foundation as treasurer and on the steering committee for the Joint Council of Librarians of Color. As an ALA Spectrum Scholar, I strive to increase diversity in the library field through mentorship, recruitment, and advocacy. it is an honor to currently serve as the co-chair of the Spectrum Advisory Group, and I would be the first Spectrum Scholar elected as president. I also co-chair the Public Library Association's Membership Advisory Group and work on the Intellectual Freedom Committee of the Missouri Library Association. Librarianship is my second career and the one I have been called to. As an ALA Spectrum Scholar, the impact of my work in diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-racism, and social justice is evident. As a national speaker, I also represent and elevate voices of the marginalized while upholding the beauty and high value of our knowledge systems while walking in both worlds between Indigenous and mainstream values. As a traditional Dakota woman, I share my authentic voice and lead with my heart as I care about people and let community be my guide. We believe in Mitakuiawasi, which is we are all related, and our ways of knowing how to support others is strong. As a connector, leader, and supporter, I strive to bring people together so we can move forward together through times of change, focusing on how we can create new legacies of positive impact to support the library and information field. With a passion for leadership and a coaching management style, my goal is to support everyone to grow together and achieve success as a field of trusted professionals where we acknowledge that communities decide what they need access to and what information they deem credible. Knowledge is shared in many ways, and we should protect what is held sacred within communities to support diversity, equity, and inclusion in library services. As a lifelong learner, I use a strategic approach to career planning and skills development, where I hold myself accountable to obtaining information to help bring people together through professional development opportunities, focusing on areas impacting public, academic, special school, and tribal libraries. The field is rapidly approaching a shift in our ecosystem, and the member leaders of ALA work with the executive director to continue to pivot with intention to enhance funding, draft revisions to update the bylaws, and create sustainable agreements reviewing the overall operational health of ALA. To serve as ALA president would be a natural progression in my career, and I believe in the importance of our work, so I have paid close attention to the advancement of growth while seeking out guidance and feedback from mentors and colleagues. As a skilled change management professional, I believe in supporting leaders and frontline workers, so I acknowledge their contributions, uplift their success, and facilitate positive growth to achieve our goals.
30
These
seconds.
combined efforts show the strength of this association, and it is with great enthusiasm that I ask for your support on this path to the presidency, where I will hit the ground running. In closing, I say Pidamae wo Pidatanka, which is I am grateful and many thanks.
Thank you, Cindy. I will now ask presidential candidate Eric D. Cease to present an opening statement. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Patty, and thank you for having me. Today is a wonderful day. I say this with confidence because at 10:59 a.m. Mountain Time this morning, my wife Karen rang the bell. She completed her treatment for breast cancer. It was a tough fight, but we were victorious. Everyone has a story, and when we work together, we succeed. In library school, we were introduced to concepts such as privacy and intellectual freedom. But as we practice our profession, we find that these are not just nebulous concepts, but real, solid, consequential values that matter greatly in our jobs, our communities, and in our lives. Like many of you, the material in my library is being challenged. Our goal of providing access to diverse ideas, experiences, and information is under fire by those who see diversity not as an opportunity, but as a threat. This is a fight I am willing to undertake not only in my own library, but in institutions across the country. Our values are important and they are worth protecting. I'm honored to run for ALA president. I've been active in ALA for 35 years. For the past 27 years, I have been a public library director that served to give me education in terms of advocacy and budgeting and management. I've served on numerous committees, chaired several, including the Committee on Legislation, Committee on Organization, Constitution and Bylaws, Awards, IFRT, and others. I've served for 12 years as an at-large member of ALA Council. And, you know, the role of the president is really primarily that in its name itself, to preside over council. And I am familiar with that process. I've seen it done well, and I am comfortable with the ability to handle the main job of the president, which would be to preside over council. I'm familiar with the structure of ALA and its financial considerations, and feel very comfortable in taking on leadership of the organization as a whole. I hope to accomplish a couple of things if given the opportunity. First, I want to concentrate on increasing diversity throughout ALA by starting the process at the earliest levels. Former ALA President E.J. Josie knew that one determined person can make a difference. He actively recruited BIPOC undergraduates with demonstrated potential into our profession. I'd like to work with ACRL and others to make a strong push to identify potential library leaders as an early stage process, earlier in their education, and foster a passion about our profession so that we can make a concerted effort to bring people into the profession and start the diversity as early as we can. Second, with the help of New Members Roundtable and other units, I want to clarify for those who are considering active ALA membership, the path to finding one's home in the association and an understanding not only that they can make a difference, but there are numerous places where they can actively participate in areas of the profession in which their interests and passions lie. ALA can appear to be monolithic and difficult to grasp due to its complexity. These are barriers that need to come down. It is my feeling that early identification of individual areas of interest can lead to long-term membership. I believe in one ALA and the operating agreement and bylaws that have been working with and passed at the most recent meeting, and support of those, because as each unit supports ALA, ALA is in a stronger position to support each unit.
30 seconds.
I'm excited to be on this path toward the presidency. I feel I can accomplish good things. I have the experience, the passion, and the interest in members, not just as members, but as individuals, each with our own stories. I can't wait to walk alongside you and celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. We will now take questions from the audience. Again, if you wish to ask a question, please type the question in the Q&A or raise your hand by utilizing the raise hand feature. We ask audience members to specify whether questions are directed at a specific presidential candidate or both. When you are recognized, please state your name and institution before asking your question. We will do our best to answer all questions. However, if time does not permit, then we encourage you to connect with the candidate after this forum or visit their website. Their information will be provided in the chat. And now let's begin with our Q&A. The response order is for all. If the response order, if the question is for all candidates, it will be then Cindy and then Eric, and then repeated in reverse order. Marcia, we have received, I understand, a couple of questions ahead of time. Can you please read the question that was submitted in advance, the first one?
Yes, thank you. How do you view volunteer engagement in a profession whose responsibilities and workload continue to increase?
Well, I believe that we're stronger together, and it's such a wonderful field of professionals with a vast and diverse skill set. So I think there are many opportunities for people to get involved. We often see the same member volunteers stepping up to make things happen because we're passionate about the work and we want to contribute to the overall success. It's important that we also scale outwards and recruit new volunteers to join us in this work. It's always going to help us to grow. And it's something where maybe we need to help people see the value of volunteering in this organization so that they can grow their network and expand their skill set and just feel real good about being a member of ALA. So I hope that that is helpful information, and I look forward to our additional questions as well. Thank you.
Eric?
ALA and librarianship as a whole is a service profession. People are looking to do what they can for their communities, and whether that be the association as a community or within their own libraries. Volunteering is something that I think a lot of us come by naturally. But volunteering within ALA, which is what most of us are doing on committees and things, is a chance to explore areas that we can be passionate about and in which we can contribute to in ways that our experience allows us to help the business of the association, and even within libraries, folks that are interested in helping the business of libraries themselves. I'm happy to work with as many people as we can and guide them toward areas of interest in which volunteering makes sense, and to learn from and to value the experience that is brought to us.
Thank you both. Marcia, maybe we could start off with the first question in the Q&A.
Sure. Newer members are really struggling with the annual dues. What can we do as an organization to either show them the value of the dollar spent or to make it easier for them?
Sure, I think I go first, right?
Yes.
The value of the organization is subjective to some extent, but I think it's really important that we show where each dollar that we spend in ALA goes. On council, we've been given that kind of information before to have the breaking up of a dollar and what it supports. That's helpful for those who are trying to belong and become part of the organization. But we really do have to be mindful as we go through what ways we can economize and which ways we can be part of the chance to spend less, perhaps to become actively involved. Certainly, it's more expensive to attend in person, so virtual opportunities are very useful as well. And I hope that we can decrease the cost of participation through those kinds of things, but always exploring what the membership and activity costs are and making sure that they are commensurate with what we're able to provide.
Thank you. Cindy?
Thank you. So for our organizational members, it's important to remember that this membership is available at that level for them to engage in ALA and to continue to have their library represented in this work. For individuals that are looking to become involved in ALA or wondering what's in it for me and how can I learn and grow, there are so many different web pages that are available on the ALA website that really show the value of this association. For me personally, it's being a part of the Spectrum Scholar community. It's something where I want to give back and I want to donate to that cause to make sure that we can recruit more diverse scholars into the field. And so when I look at the value of my dollar, I think of it as a reinvestment into my career, into my future success. I have just gained such a great network of colleagues and friends across the country in this role on ALA, being a member and being a volunteer and stepping up into leadership. And so it's something where, to me, the returns are endless. I would say it's a very sound investment. And I know that I'm always looking for ways to maximize my budget as well. And so it's important to me that I'm able to help others see the value and connect them to all the resources that are available. If they're hidden, it's time for us to go on a hunt and find information. Thank you.
Thank you. Marcia, could we continue with that second question that was submitted in advance?
Sure. What are your plans to increase and retain ALA members?
And then we start with Cindy, sorry.
Thank you. So my first career was in marketing and communications, where I specialized in relationship marketing, which is the process of retaining your membership, making sure that everyone understands what the value is of belonging. And so in order to do that, we need to start at the beginning where we create a welcoming space. So it's not just with that initial welcome email and welcoming them into the opportunities that exist. It's about building that sustainable relationship over time where we have to remain engaged with one another. So whether that's through committee work or we're meeting and mixing at conferences, there are opportunities for us to grow that engagement, and it's through our involvement. So whether that be another committee or if we have monthly drop-in meetings, something a little bit more informal than the current structure where you can attend either the 2 different conferences throughout the years or, attend some of the ALA Connect series, which has been a wonderful resource for members as well. There are so many different ways that we can meet with our members, and especially at the chapter level. So with our state associations, making sure that we're providing that support is really going to help us continue to grow and engage this membership so that we do have a sustainable future together. The more connected we are, the more reasons that we'll see ourselves in one ALA. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric?
Sure. I think we harken back to what I had said in my opening statement. Sometimes it's really hard for somebody who is new and wants to begin being actively involved to know what exactly is out there, because it seems like a big, overwhelming organization, and we got to drop that. We got to make sure that it's very clear that there are opportunities, and as Cindy said, to either to meet and establish colleague connections, or to be participating in committees. To find those places easily within ALA is something that I'm committed to do, and to improve the level at which we're communicating about those things. I don't think we have a lack of those places. I think we do really, really well, and we actually have a lot of information about them. But to really streamline it and make sure that those people who are coming in early on in their careers or in their involvement within the association, that they are aware of what kind of opportunities are out there easily, and that if they can find those quickly, there's a high likelihood of them continuing to be engaged and having a long-term membership within our association. And that's the goal, isn't it? It really is to try to make sure that this is a good home for folks and that people can find their way about in some place where they're happy, they can contribute, they can gain from it, and to work with their colleagues and have a very valuable career. I've been very fortunate to have that, and I certainly would love to see a lot of people find that easily and simply.
Thank you, Eric. Marcia, we can proceed with the Q&A, and Eric, you will be the first step.
What will you do to support access to government documents?
Well, I think a lot of government documents are a mystery to a lot of people, and with the depository library systems and things like that, it can be kind of a challenge to figure out what exactly is out there. Not everybody knows how to find something by SUDOC number or those sorts of things. But I think it's really important that they are the people's documents and they should have access to them. A lot of that, therefore, isn't in the medium. We can get things out to people very, very simply, but in the message that we let people know what is out there, how to find it quickly, and where to find it. Not only in the depository library system for specific documents, but through simplified databases and through other professional publications which libraries can put out there to try to really push information about things that could be very valuable to the average person. Also within a library, I'm in a public library system, the more information we can make available to our patrons as easily as possible, the better. It still is a mystery to a lot of people, but I think it shouldn't be. And there's so much of a wealth of information out there. The question is really, how do you access it? And I think there are ways.
Thank you, Cindy.
Yes, so of course, we're talking about a trust relationship. And it's important that we're able to access the documentation that supports the decisions that these leaders who are elected to serve make. And so when we're looking at how we can access those documents, we have FOIA, we have a process. When you're looking at nation to nation relations, and I'm talking about tribal libraries here, it's important that we all know what that process looks like, because everyone wants access to documents. Everyone wants to be able to share information, but sometimes there are process systems in place that don't always facilitate that easy transfer of information. And so what we need to think about is the reason why we're requesting those documents. And so we need to provide that value statement. What's in it for them? How they can benefit from a library system requesting access to a document. We have many decisions to make serving our communities. And one of the things that is most important is making sure that we're doing so with a veil of transparency. We need to make sure that everyone knows we're here to serve everyone. Everyone's equals. We're all here together in our library service platforms to be able to provide access. And when it's appropriate to access certain documents, that's hopefully the role of the library and what we're here to do, whether that's through a formal request through a database, or if we're helping someone access a form to do so. Connecting people to information, that's what we're here for in public libraries especially. We will provide you with access to the internet and a computer and help you navigate those systems. Thank you.
Thank you. Marcia, can you proceed with the next question? And Cindy, you will answer that first.
Please comment on the future of ALA finances.
Yes, finances, a very vital part of our existence. Again, that's a reinvestment tool that we have to look at how we make decisions. And as ALA is looking at finances and has been looking at the operating agreement, especially, when you allocate those dollars and you're looking at revenues, it's important that you are always looking how you can scale up in your service while providing the most value back to your membership. And that's sometimes easier said than done. So as we know, with member leaders, we all have great ideas and a lot of plans we would love to see happen, but it takes time and resources. And so when we're looking at the financial health of an organization, it's important that we are remembering that we're only as strong as our membership line. And that's what we exist for. ALA is for its members. ALA exists to support members and provide them with access to information and educational resources, along with network and community. So when we place a value on that, we determine that return on investment. That's up to us to communicate what those values are, and so that we can help everyone grow. I would hope that all members would find immediate value on the return with their membership fee. But we also need to look at how we can increase donations, and we can help club members really feel valued for the investment they have made. And always looking at all of our donors, it's something where we need to be well-rounded in that approach. So looking at a financial snapshot in time, that's always beneficial. Of course, that's necessary. But when we're looking for long-term growth, we need to look at how we can diversify our investments as well. So I think that the future of ALA is very strong, and there are many opportunities. So it's a lot to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric?
Sure. Several things go into the ALA finances. ALA looks at publishing, at membership, at conferences, and at endowments and things. The endowment trustees have done an excellent job in their investment. During COVID, when things were falling apart, we did better than certainly expected. The budget accounting, BARC, the Budget Accountability Review Committee, has done a tremendous job at making sure that anything that happens within ALA is done in a financially sound manner. The One ALA concept, where we're trying to simplify things like the investment into the future of the various funds that different divisions have had, now are sort of combined in the potential operating agreement that hasn't yet been decided on. That it's being discussed. So financial simplification, an understanding of the investment that we have, an understanding of the sources of income are all really, really critical to those people who are leading the profession. And because of that, I think ALA, having looked at all those things carefully, is doing well and has done better than expected in general. Publishing still continues to be a challenge,
30 seconds.
but that is, even that has been moving in the right direction. Membership is just a small part of it, and while it's an important part of it, all those things together make a big difference. And by trying to pull together as one ALA with one outlook, that is the best way to go. And it's been happening, and I think we're doing very, very well. Future is bright.
Thank you. Marcia, if you could continue on with the next question, and Eric, you will be first.
What do you think are the most important core values of our profession?
I think that all of the core values are important. I have really concentrated on intellectual freedom. Equity, diversity, and inclusion is important. Privacy is important. You can list them all, but each of them in their own way has an important part to play in what we do. And as I stated in my opening statement, they aren't nebulous concepts. They're actual on the ground, you can feel them and touch them kind of things that are out there. And so each contributes mightily to the strength of our profession, and the future of what we do and how we do it. There is a battle against folks who don't agree with our values. And I think it's really critical that as we move forward, our library leadership join strongly in battle to support these things. And like I said, I've mentioned intellectual freedom. I'm a member of the Intellectual Freedom Roundtable, have been part of the Freedom to Read Foundation for a long time in terms of membership, et cetera. And so that comes across as really important to me, but the diversity and the inclusion in our system needs to be strong. Privacy needs to be critical. I think we need to support everything we consider a core value and not say one is more important than the other.
Thank you. Cindy?
Thank you. So our core values is what guides us. That's where we find our fit in ALA. And when we say one ALA, that's truly our values all together. So when you look at a blueprint, it's a pathway and you choose which beacon you want to follow. There are so many ways to serve and to grow and to learn and support you in your career in ALA, that our core values is something that absolutely not only drives the work, but helps us stay connected. And that's the beauty of diversity. When you're looking at what can we care about, that list can only grow. If we want to say that one is, crucial to our field, I would say we can make an argument for almost every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, intellectual freedom is really near and dear to our profession, because we want to make sure that all voices have a place in society, that all stories are told, and that everyone has equal access. So when we talk about celebrating diversity and looking at how we can work with educational partners in our communities, it's something where that's what makes ALA such a wonderful association, is that we can say, yes, we care about that too. And that's always a good place to be. So I don't know if there's one that I would prioritize over the other, because I think we can make a strong case for any of it. And since it is our core value, that's what our touchstone, and that's something that we're always going to return to. So no matter which work you contribute to, you will find great value in that, and you'll be able to feel like you belong here. And that's really what any association strives for, to create a welcoming space of belonging for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Marcia, if you could continue with the next one, and Cindy will be answering first.
We're gonna merge two questions. I think they're similar. What are the proactive steps that ALA can push back against the book bannings that are currently ruling the profession, especially the school and public library sections? Youth librarians, especially school librarians, are dealing with a heavy amount of censorship and challenges. If elected, what can you do to help them feel more supported by the organization?
Well, that's a great question, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to that. In Missouri, we've had many challenging times in recent months with school librarians being told you will be fined $2,000 and incarcerated should you place a book in the hands of a student that someone may disagree with, that they should have access to. That shouldn't be a fear in our profession ever. I don't think anyone went to library school thinking that that could someday become their reality. And as we look to how we can retain and support our colleagues, it's important that they know about the resources that are available. Of course, we begin with the Office of Intellectual Freedom. We look to the Freedom to Read Foundation for that support. The Office of Intellectual Freedom is here to provide support. We need to report any of these incidents as they occur. They have so many wonderful resources that are available online. And the biggest thing that ALA can do is to continue to move that campaign forward, that we stand up for everyone's rights to access information freely. When we say free people read freely, that's not just a cute slogan. That's something that represents our values and holds us together. When school librarians are feeling all alone and that they don't know where to turn and they maybe aren't receiving that support from their administration that they need to, or from their communities, or even parents for that matter, who need additional resources. We should have a one-stop shop where they come to a web page, they see everything at their fingertips. Of course, not everyone's going to seek out that information, especially if they don't believe in it. If they're on the other side and they feel that librarians are no longer trusted professionals and that we shouldn't be curating collections without their advice and input, we need to continue to help everyone understand our profession and why we are here, what we are here to do, the process behind our policies. That is something that all strengthens our work. And so as we're here to support educators in our communities, again, building relationships, every public library should know their school librarian and vice versa. We're stronger together, and that's across sectors as well. So the education and librarian fields, those should just always have a natural fit together. So there's so much that we can do, and I hope that everyone will continue to see that ALA is here for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric?
Well, as I said, in my case, that's a personal question. We have a SPLC identified hate group coming after us. You know, nationally, as this effort comes forth against libraries, it is highly political. It is very vocal, extremely well organized. They have a plan and a blueprint, and they know what they're doing, but they are a minority. And so the programs like the Unite Against Book Bans and other programs like that are looking at unleashing the power of the majority to stand up for diversity, to stand up for our values, is really a critical path to take. We need to harness the power of the majority. And in so doing, that will help us support efforts to battle these sorts of things. The Freedom to Read Foundation and the Office for Intellectual Freedom are both excellent resources. Deborah Caldwell Stone in the Office for Intellectual Freedom is brilliant and has tremendous information on how to help fight these sorts of things. I think really when it comes down to it, we have to stand up clearly and find our supporters and be just as vocal, be just as organized, and just as passionate about where we're from as those who would oppose us. In the end, the majority, a vocal majority should be able to take on a vocal minority. And I think that can in many cases work. And I hope that that's the direction we move. Let's find all their resources, find the majorities, find their voice, and get out there and fight, 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 because I'm not going to put up with it. Our values need to be protected.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind everyone that Adrian is keeping great time for us and to listen to those cues so that we can make sure that everyone hears from both of you with equal time. So Marcia, if you could proceed with the next question, and Eric will go first.
Thank you.
ALA will be launching a major fundraising campaign linked to the 150th anniversary.
Mhm.
What role will you play?
Well, certainly, the ALA president is the face of the organization. And I think, as long as you're out there in front of people, letting people know what it is that we offer, how we've been involved throughout our history, what kind of things we can look forward to, not only what we have been, what we are, but what we can be. And so when you celebrate an anniversary, it shouldn't be just looking back, it should be looking forward as well. I'll be out there beating the bushes and talking to as many people as I can, very, very visibly, because I think, again, the president is the face of the organization and should be loud and clear about what kind of values and support needs to be out there. I think it's exciting. I mean, not many professions run into this, and we're very, very fortunate that we've got this coming up. And I'm excited to support it every way I can, both financially and with my presence.
Thank you. Cindy?
I love celebrating ALA, our people, members, our communities, everything that we have going on. And my library is currently planning our 150th. So indeed, it is a monumental occasion and one that requires our full efforts to not only advocate for the value of ALA and how everyone can join in with us, but to celebrate our members and all of the work that has happened, recognizing all of our past leaders, supporting our current leaders, and hopefully recruiting our new leaders so that we can all see how our fit in ALA comes to be. It's so important that we remember to always represent ALA in a good way and to make sure that we are using all of the communication channels we have available to us. So looking at a campaign schedule, everything would be marked down, and all of our different blogs and emails and social media posts, everything would be organized in a good way so that we can all see that this is something that is not only worth celebrating, but doing so with great intention. So I would very much look forward to supporting our members as we move through that recognition and making sure that we are listening to everyone and including their feedback as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Marcia, can you proceed? And Cindy, you will answer first.
As president, you will serve 3 years on ALA Executive Board. How will you help this board with its diverse membership from various divisions and roundtables focused on the association as a whole?
Well, it's just like with our core values. It's something that drives us. We have interests, and that's something that we really connect with. Looking at ALA, ALA isn't just merely the umbrella. We are ALA. And so when you find your fit in a division, a roundtable, or through chapter work, it's important that we remember that we should share that information back, not only so that we save resources and we don't duplicate efforts, but that we continue to expand upon our resource base, looking at how we can continue to move in new directions and be able to provide members with the support that they need. So there are so many ways that we can scale up and support one another. One of the big things about supporting the executive board is that the beauty of that diverse membership is that there are so many different points of view that should be held together with great respect. And so that's an opportunity to support those member leaders and help them see that we recognize their efforts, we applaud their commitment, and that we absolutely are here to support them in their success together. not only as one unit and as subcommittees and committees, but as an entire body of membership as a whole. So I think it's important that we always recognize and support leaders and our frontline staff as well. So a lot of opportunities there. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric?
Well, I think it goes back to what I had said before, in that ALA is really strong when its units are strong. And the units are really strong when ALA is strong. I think that concept of a one ALA and a united combined effort is incredibly valuable, important, and I think in the end it's going to be very positive. There are a lot of different ideas that are present within the association, not only in the leadership, but in the general membership. And again, one of the things that I had talked about was trying to make sure that the lines of communication are strong and that everybody feels, and not only just feels, but actually has the opportunity to contribute to a positive organization. The greater the diversity in the process, the more experiences we bring to the table, the stronger our organization is going to be. And so as the president supports and gets support from the executive board, from the executive director, and from all the component parts of the process, it's really important that we listen hard, that we pay attention, and that we give opportunities for input to as many different people from as many different experiences as possible. I would certainly support any efforts that move that direction.
Thank you. Marcia, can we proceed? And Eric will be first.
What are your thoughts on the new proposal for ALA members to vote on regarding updating the ALA Constitution and bylaws?
Well, my thoughts are that it's been a long, busy, involved process. I was able to, at LibLearnX, attend the council meetings where the bylaws were finally passed by the council. They now go to the vote of the membership. I think, in my mind, the members have a very positive slate of bylaws to vote on. They were very highly, strongly, and carefully considered. There was a lot of input from a number of diverse and varied voices. And I think what ended up as the list of bylaws that were passed by council during LibLearnX is an extremely strong, positive list of bylaws, and folding the Constitution into the bylaws. And so I think the membership certainly has their choice as to whether they vote to support those, but I think that they will, and at least I think they should, because in my mind, they're very strong. The operating agreement, which is still to come, will be the next hurdle, but I think at least in terms of folding the Constitution bylaws together, and that process has worked well and has had excellent input and is worth supporting.
Thank you. Cindy?
Well, it's always important to review your Constitution and bylaws, making sure that that information is still current and that it is applicable to what your members need at this point in time in their careers. So when we're looking at constitutional language, those are oftentimes the sacred language that people don't really want to touch. They feel that that was really important at that time that it was drafted and that we should continue to support. So I applaud everyone who has worked towards updating that language to reflect a more modern approach and making sure that the bylaws are reviewed, because with any sound policy, we need to continue to review that to make sure that we are writing inclusive policies. When we say we're one ALA, we need to make sure that all of the structure that is in place is truly able to provide guidance to our members so that everyone does feel supported in this association. When we're looking at how we can make updates, that's not the only places that we should look though. So there are many different ways that we can look at all of the missions throughout our chapters, our divisions, our roundtables, to make sure that as we continue this work, everything truly is in alignment. And so it's always good to review, and it's even better to gain consensus with those outcomes, because as we do this work together, We're here to strengthen the association and what it has to offer. I think that this is a very powerful time. It's an unprecedented time, just like everything else we've been going through. And so it's something that is vital to this future success of ALA. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to do a quick time check. It looks like we have 3 more questions waiting, and we've got about 5 more minutes before we have the closing remarks. I just wanted to give our speakers and our audience a little bit of a time check. Marcia, if you could proceed with the next question, and Cindy will begin. Thank you.
The operating agreement is under review. How would you change the operating agreement to serve ALA better?
You know, we always need money to make things work, but that doesn't always need to be the focus of everything that we do. So when you look at a business plan, you're looking at that document being a guiding light, a document that you can refer to, a document that represents the values and where you need to head next. So when we're looking at the operating agreement and we're seeing that financially things will change in regards to process and procedure, pulling everyone together, looking at how the revenues are being projected and especially how they're being budgeted. When we look at how much it costs to run ALA, there are a lot of factors that contribute to that overall plan. And so it's important that we're remembering that the experience of our membership is what drives this work. And if we do not have a strong engagement plan in place, we are going to continue to look at how we can make that happen in other ways. So when we say we have an agreement means we've gained consensus and we've all agreed that this is the plan that's going to be successful. This is the plan that we need, and this is the plan that we will support. So as we start or continue those discussions, it's really important that we are making sure that all members know what is contained in that document so that we can come up with a strong blueprint moving forward. Those are how we achieve goals together, and the outcomes will most definitely be successful if we continue on that plan together. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric?
The operating agreement as currently proposed by Maggie Farrell is available, I believe, on ALA's website just for review, so that if you have any questions about it, you can look at it. It takes a lot of what was originally put in charge by the divisions or the roundtables, and they were in control of their own destinies, if you will. It merges them into the one ALA concept, so that the entire organization is working together in concert with the divisions and units rather than being composed by them. That has caused some consternation with people in the divisions, especially, who are concerned that they won't have the same kind of control that they had before. But in the long run, I believe that the new proposal makes sense. And I think, again, it's that symbiotic relationship where you have a stronger division means a stronger ALA, and a stronger ALA makes a stronger division. I am in favor of the operating agreement as proposed. There may be some tweaks that happen between now and when it finally gets officially adopted or at least approved by council. But I think a lot of great work has gone into it, and with the mindset that what we're looking at is the long-term health of the organization and its components.
30 seconds.
So I'm pretty strongly in support of it, even though there are some challenging concepts in it.
Thank you. Looking at the time, I don't know that we have time for one more question. So I would encourage those other questions to be applied to the meet and greet, which is the next portion of this. So our time for questions obviously is now over. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make a closing statement. We will begin with presidential candidate Eric Suess and then Cindy Hohl. So Eric, you please feel free to proceed.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with each of you. Again, I look at each person not as simply as a number or a member, but as a person. We each have our stories. That's how I have to approach things. And that's just the way that I've always run my management style. I have employees, but they're people first and then employees. I have tremendous experience, lots of years and lots of experience doing a lot of things that would strongly support my ability to be successful as a president of the American Library Association. But when it comes down to it, I really want to focus on the basics, and that is getting new members involved in ALA as soon as possible and as early and as successfully as possible. I hope that I'm given an opportunity to increase the ability to communicate to members. Again, the medium is not the problem, it's the message. We really need to work on simplifying. I hope to do some really good, fun things, and I think that we can work together collegially and collaboratively to do excellent work in the future. I think the future of ALA is very bright, and I look forward to being part of that. I look for your support, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm greatly honored to have this chance. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And now I call upon presidential candidate Cindy Hohl to present a closing statement. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. We are at a critical time in our country where the reputation of libraries as trust institutions is in jeopardy due to the sharing of false narratives by those with an interest to target individuals and groups, which cause adverse impacts. Librarians are fierce advocates of supporting equal access, and we are proud to serve using the tenets of librarianship, whereby upholding the principles of freedom of speech, challenging attempts at censorship, and ensuring privacy and confidentiality of library usage. The freedom to read is essential to our democracy. I stand in solidarity with you as a Dakota woman, and this matter is of great importance to us because there was a time in this country where we were outlawed from reading, writing, or speaking our language. Our children were forcibly removed from our families to attend boarding school with the goal of kill the Indian to save the man. The public was fully indoctrinated into the harmful system of values under the guise of education. It was not until 1978 that we were able to practice our religion in peace, but our hymnals were removed from us again to create a more inclusive space where English-only speakers were welcome to participate, where they would feel comfortable. We are still here, and the attempts at banning our existence failed. We are reinforcing our culture, emphasizing truth and identity, and helping everyone recognize the value of sharing knowledge. It is okay to think, feel, and act as equals, and no one should be made to feel as if they are inferior or that they do not belong. We encourage library leaders to stand up for the rights of library users so that these attempts at erasure will end. We do not need to kill anyone's spirit to save the person, and that ideology has no place in an educated society. Supporting literacy and the equality of humanity can be a sustainable goal, with libraries acting as safe havens for everyone to feel welcomed and that they belong. We are one ALA, and we stand united in these important matters. Thank you for contributing to a much greater cause, and I thank you for joining us today.
Thank you all. This concludes the 2023 ALA Virtual President's Candidates Forum. It has been my pleasure to moderate this forum. I would once again like to thank all of our candidates and all of you who came to hear them. Please join us at the Meet the Candidates session following this. It does require a separate link. You see that in the chat, and we encourage all of you to share your questions there as well. And you can see more information from Cheryl on the ALA election and the link for that. Thank you all, and have a good evening.